Welcome, Chef, to the Culinary Institute. So when you were a student here at CIA, you graduated in '91, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. And what was some of the things that you got involved with, or who were some of the people that you met that really had an impact on you in your career?
He's still here. It's amazing. Like Perry is still here, you know, and he was like, his like kind of energy was like, I was towards the end of school. He was the chef at Katerina at that time, and so he like just like he's has that kind of manic energy a little bit. It was the first restaurant or the second restaurant kitchen at the time, and it was like, it took me a little bit of time to figure out that I really wanted to be chef guy, even though that's why I came here.
Right.
But all these other things were exposed to me, and it was kind of like that was really starting to get excited about like the restaurant part. I had Weiss too, and he was like also kind of like a little bit. He's a character, you know, so he brings that. He brought that flair to it. Wine, I was excited for that class because, you know, wine. I grew up. Wine for me was like something my dad made in the basement, and like uncle brought over on like Christmas. So I didn't know, and you'd never be an expert, but I'm still very passionate about wine.
Yeah. He makes it very accessible, I think.
You know, that was like my first like jump into that, you know, world, and I still try to like teach myself a lot and learn. I'd love to drink wine, and he's kind of started that.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that it's safe to assume that at least one time you had just an absolutely awful service.
Me? No, every service I had.
Every single one was perfect, flawless. So when that happened, how did you bounce back from it? How did you handle it? Do you mind telling us what happened?
I'm trying to think of like a particular story. You know, working with the European guys is a big thing I wanted to do when I got out of school, and there's less of that now in New York. And you know, back then it was like, you know, in San Domenico there were 2 Americans in the kitchen. It was Scott Conant and myself, and everyone else was Italian. You know, and they were more forgiving than like the French guys or the Swiss guys I worked with later, who are just inherently not very nice, you know, especially like in the kitchen. So
when that happened, how did you bounce back from it? How did you handle it? Do you mind telling us what happened?
Bad services, they still happen to us. There's so many like non-tangible things that can go wrong. Customer gets up, waiter misfires the ticket, sous chef misfires the ticket. The hood goes out. Maybe the steak wasn't cut the same thickness as the other steak, and like there's like so many minutia that can lead to like a bad service. Our job is to kind of come up with systems to lessen that pain,
minimize that pain.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's not about making mistakes. They're going to happen. It's about how to like cover them up, move on, and that just kind of like translates to a million other things. But yeah, you can't take it personally at the moment. You can't beat yourself up at the moment. Because you beat yourself up in the moment, it's just going to get worse. You
were here yesterday for the career fair and spoke to a lot of students, I hope. And what kind of advice would you offer to students who are going out into the industry right now? Or something that maybe you wish you had known when you were graduating or starting out your career? I think even in my talk today, I was thinking about, you know, what that would be, you know, and that was kind of what the whole talk was about. Really, a point that I made, and that was my favorite point because it's really the most important one, is it take your time. And you know, it's like the financial pressure immediately can be, I understand that, it can be really daunting. It can be really daunting, and the fiscal reality of the business doesn't allow you in the beginning to kind of like get the skills you want to get and be like very compensated on it. Just take your time. It's so important. Like don't rush to take the job that's going to pay you the most money early, because it's probably going to be the worst mistake ever. And on a pure monetary basis, forget about skills or you know anything else. It's like don't make another 5 to 10 grand more now, or try to make a 5 than like lose out on hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars later. Like pure fiscal number reality. Like take your time, learn how to do stuff, learn how to be really good at, you know, the skills that you won't have to think about later. Right. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, cheers.